Hey guys, Ash here, coming at you today in Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video, guys. Sending some positive vibes your way today, especially if you need it out there. By popular demand, we're going to go ahead and cover a pretty robust guide for the promotion raids inside Watcher of Realms. Now, obviously, there's 4 different raids. Endurance covers both defenders and healers in terms of class, marksman, mages, fighters as well. You can get 5 different types of reward from these, including Insignia 1, Insignia 2, and Insignia 3 of each of the respective classes, okay? Obviously, Endurance, again, covers both defenders and healers in this game. And then we have Legendary Extract and Mythic Extract. Mythic Extract is used to promote a hero, all the way to level 6. So the most valuable thing that you can get is Mythic Extract. Obviously, it doesn't matter which stage you're farming. You can use the Mythic and the Legendary Extract, on any hero, regardless of class. And of course, the Insignias are going to be what's unique about each of these stages. So overview done. You can see a guide similar to gear raids, right? These guides are great. They can give you inspiration in terms of picking popular heroes that you might have. You can look on the popular heroes tab as well to look at heroes that other people are using for success. You can also look at recommended lineups, more inspiration here, but most importantly, the map info. The map info is going to remind you of what the map is and give you an idea of what type of heroes you need. It's really a shame they don't have, and maybe this is coming soon, it's got to be, right? Maybe color-coded tiles to just show you, or a little tint to show you where you can drop your melee units. The platforms are pretty intuitive. Either way, what you want to be looking at here is kind of going through the monsters, checking out at least their magic resistance, maybe even reading about them as well. It's going to help inform, again, which type of heroes you're going to be using. Note if they have light armor, if they're range, physical, etc. on the enemies. Giving it good familiarity with a level is going to help you more than probably any YouTube video can, to be honest with you guys. So what I want to do here is go through each of these. I'm going to try not to use any legendaries provided that I have. Let's see. I'm going to take the legendaries out of these teams. But I think we're looking pretty good here. So let's see who I have. This is going to be Marksman. We're starting with Insignia Marksman. We're going to do Extreme 2 on all of the stages, so the most difficult ones out there. And I want to say I'll use a Dolores. Can never go wrong with Dolores. And then, oh yeah, well, no, we don't need a fighter here. Let's do a, do I have any Marksman that's not a legendary that I can use right now? No. So we know what we'll do? You know what we'll do, guys? We will use an Olog. Because even though it's not intuitive as to why you would need a defender in these stages, you can definitely still use them, basically to buy you time. So let's slow it down here. Here's the map. This is Extreme 2. What I like to do is put probably my most powerful DPS, which is going to be Maul, right smack dab in the middle. I was a little late there, but not the end of the world. So then after that, I want to probably cover these other 2 tiles, but we have to be very careful of our peripheral here. You can see, that's going to be coming from the right. So let's handle this one next. So what I like to do, guys, is take one hero, unless you have like a Setram or somebody with incredible range. I actually like to face this hero to the right. That way we can make sure that nobody sneaks by there, right? So instead of placing more units, and I hope that a lot of this strategy can help you out depending, wherever you are level-wise, right? You'll see this hero is going to be taking damage, so we will need to heal up over there or have some sort of a game plan. So before we place heroes in this game, I like to, at least understand where the enemy is going to come from. Pre-placing heroes super early is not incredibly advantageous. I'm going to go ahead and use Q here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to face him to the left here. Now, when you're end-to-end game, right, in this game, you're not going to need to stress yourself out so much about where exactly, which direction. Okay, so see how we didn't finish that one off? We're going to go ahead and set up. We have plenty cost saved up right now, but we have 2 threats coming in, right? So I'd say this is probably the first one. We're actually going to face these units up. And same thing here. Let's go ahead. Who's our next highest DPS here? I think it's probably Lightlock, to be honest with you guys. Plus, it's good because we can actually get some heals in there as well. Ooh, let's get Mari down to just save the day over here. Just to make sure. Okay. So now we're going to take our next DPS and fill in this square up here. And then what we can do is start using some alts here and speed things up. Let's go ahead and get Dolores. So we can use her right over here or right over here, right? And we can use a Navi. Any inspiration hero is going to be great. What we want to do is just try to see where we're going to need it first, right? Again. Now, I said we could use tanks, even though it's not clearly intuitive. What we can do is if we need to buy time here, we can go in. And you'll notice I'm not using any Lord skills because I don't have any good ones. Let's go ahead and put her over here. It looks like this is going to be our kind of our weak zone. Since we have Q kind of holding down the fort there. We can buy, and this applies to any stage, we can buy extra time utilizing the, there we go. Utilizing a tank, you know? So from here on out, we're pretty much smooth sailing. We have a really strong line of DPS, if you will, right in the middle. And on the sides, we can save our alts strategically for when we're really going to need them. And of course, we do have Brienne right here, kind of guarding the left-hand side, which is our weak point. But now that we have Dolores there, she's actually strengthening Q quite a bit. So I don't think we'll even have to use our ult here. We're not going to have to. We already cleared the level. So there's the, Marksman, I would say, is one of the easier stages out of all 4 to clear. So let's go ahead and check the damage here. Obviously, Maul is going to be a massive carry there. And you can see a lot of it is just positional based in terms of where these heroes were. All right, let's move on to the mages. So Mages Extreme 2, let's go ahead again and make the team. Let's take out the legendaries. Legendary, legendary, legendary. I think we're going to be good here. One more legendary. All right, so mages, AoE damage is going to be fantastic. So let's go in here and find who we can use. I'm going to go ahead and use Voltus on this team. Let's go ahead and put, you know what? Let's go ahead and see who they recommend, huh? Popular heroes. Of course, they're going to recommend all of my all of my legendaries, of course. This is the map, by the way, guys. We will need some ground units for this one. So let's just go back to it here. It shouldn't be that challenging. Let's see. Let's go with Maul again. Even though he's not a mage, I think Maul is just incredible when it comes to AoE in this game. We'll use Lightlock again as well. And let's go ahead and use Olag as well. All right, you can tell some of my favorite epic heroes in the game, right? All right, so we start with one mob right over here. What I like to do is get not my strongest DPS, but a DPS kind of covering this this side. You face him this way. Instead of facing him towards the portal, you face him this way. That way you can cover some of this lane later on in the battle as well. It doesn't matter if we take a little while on this. Again, it's not my strongest. It's Voltus in terms of DPS unit. I'm going to go ahead and put Wrath down as my guard here. You might need to use a defender because we don't have any block going on here, or much block going on here. But what we want to do here, I'm going to slow things down, is I want to have another DPS, and I want to have this DPS actually facing towards this portal up at the top. So these are kind of Voltus and Iona are going to be like our secondary DPS for this strategy, right? Let's fast forward a little bit more here, and then we're going to start taking our best DPS. In this case, I like to put my best DPS right over here. So it's going to be Maul. Fast forward again a little bit, and now I'm going to go ahead and utilize Dolores to get more DPS out of my best DPS. After that, we're going to go ahead and put Mari right over here. It's nice because she can cover all of these lanes, right? She's going to be debuffing. She's going to be CCing. Now, ideally, we'd have one more really nice DPS next to her. However, we don't really have one more DPS on the squad right now because we're kind of limited. Let's go ahead and use an ult here. And see Mari, it seems maybe a little counterintuitive to put her all the way over here, but she's going to turn around and help out behind her as well, right? Let's go ahead and put Lightlock right over here. And that's the squad. Now, things are going to get pretty crazy here in terms of, I'm going to use that ult. We're going to use this ult. Debuffs down from Iona. Big nuke comes down. Mari just CCing everything. Mari is incredible. You guys know how much I love her. But again, this one is... We can use Voltus right away here. We can use Dolores in just a moment. We're about halfway through these waves. This one kind of take a while here, right? We're going to wait to use Dolores until these mobs all approach. Now they do. We're going to go ahead and use her. And I don't think we even need to use Maul's ult right now. So let's go ahead and use Iona. Let's activate Mari in a sec. Yeah, right now. And then Maul's last ult of the battle. And there we go. So again, it's about concentrating your DPS and really not being afraid to tackle those DPS, those enemies at the portals right away in terms of the north and the south of this map. All right, so that's Extreme 2. Let's go ahead and check the damage really quick here and move over to Endurance, which is a little bit more challenging, I would say. So Yona really putting in some work there. So did Maul and Voltus as well. So we're going to move on to Endurance. Endurance Extreme 2, here we go. This one is, again, let's go ahead and take a look at the map. When we look at it, it's all about timing on this one. All right, guys, so Endurance Extreme 2, this is the team that we put together. I like having 4 ground units, okay? It doesn't matter if they're defenders or if they're fighters, provided they have enough sustainability and healing on the team. To that matter, I prefer 2 to 3 healers, and the rest can be DPS. So let's go ahead and jump into it here. It's all about timing in Endurance, Endurance Extreme 2. So we want to start out with a defender with a block of 3 in the middle, right? It's going to be 3 units coming down, and we can actually help set up some support, some DPS in a little bit here to help him out, okay? Basically what we want to do, first priority, is getting all of our melee units down to block these sides, right? You can get away with a fighter on the sides usually, or a defender works as well, right? A self-sustaining fighter, such as a Wrath, very, very effective on one of these sides. So the first thing I want to do is get some splash damage to help out in the middle. Another way that we could do this, instead of getting a splash damage champion like Maul, we can have a fighter in the back. So we could have like a Scorch helping out from behind as well. So that's another option for you guys. But look at the health on both of my side units. I have to be thinking about supporting them, right? Healing them. So we're going to get 1 healer down, and then hopefully we will get our second healer down, and we are. And I'm just going to go ahead and concentrate this healer right on Wrath. Now, Ezrein has this ability where he's able to heal anywhere on the map, but I just wanted to play it safe there. And what we want to do is we have 2 DPS left here. We want to get 1 covering both sides, the left and the right. So now we have basically our formation, and this should be able to ride us out throughout the duration of the rest of this fight. It's all about healers. You can put, I have Light Lock as well, so if I needed to, I could put an additional healer over here on this pedestal. But it looks like we're going to be okay. So I haven't ran these specific teams because, again, I've taken out all my legendaries. Of course, you could easily use, you know, a rage booster or anything like that. But you can see we're not even really having to use our ults here. I'm going to use one just for the heck of it in the center where things get a little bit hairy at times. But you can see pretty much on lockdown. We have good healing coverage. Vortex is incredibly good for this map because you can cover the middle tank and one of the side tanks, right? Which is why we absolutely love him. Let's go ahead and use E-drills. And it's pretty much over. Let's burn. Sometimes I like to just mess around and burn every ult at the end of the battle. Just a little flex there. Why not, right? There we go. So that is how I like to tackle Endurance 2. Again, hopefully this is helping you guys just to give you inspiration in terms of the general strategy, timing, etc. All right, so Extreme 2 Endurance over. Let's do Extreme 2 Melee Attack, okay? So this one, it's all about, this is going to be the exception where I'm going to have to use legendaries because I don't have enough tanks that aren't legendaries. This one is, I hate to say it, but it's kind of a lot about the bodies, right? Obviously, the gear is important, don't get me wrong, but it's about having as many bodies as possible on this one, right? Because there's no platforms. So I do have, you know, maybe a Lord in there or 2, but essentially what we want to do is put, what I like to do at least, is put some Lords, or excuse me, put a Lord down obviously early, but put some DPS, some melee that can also deal some DPS as our first units down here, right? So now we have some really good DPS, and we want to watch which lane the enemies are coming from next. And just in the nick of time, we're going to go ahead and get another DPS. I like this back row to be DPS, if possible, and then I put my defenders, or so fighters, or, you know, like in the case of Torador, for example, somebody who can actually put out a little bit of damage too, right? So Abomination's another good example. And you can see in this strategy, I'm going very, very, Nightmare heavy, obviously. So for that reason, I'm going to get Baron down next too. And let's just put him down over here. So now I'm going to put my defenders. What this level is, it just hits you with an onslaught of tons and tons and tons of enemies, basically, right? These waves after wave of enemy. So what you want to do essentially is just set up your defenders so they can act as a siphon or filter, if you will, and then the DPS in the back can handle them kind of one at a time, right? So we have Olog over here, we have, and if they, if they die, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, there's no healing, but these are all my melee units that I have on my account, essentially, right? They just sit there and, the defenders defend and the DPS kill them in the back, right? Things do get pretty crazy at some point here. So you can start burning these ults in the front, helping out with a little bit of damage there. And then towards the end, you can usually withdraw some of these tanks in the front towards the very end, just to speed things up a little bit. So I'm ulting just in case. When things get a little, gnarly here, I like to just make sure that as everybody's approaching, as we're getting through here, I'm using some of these ults at kind of a bad timing, but not the end of the world.
This is fine.
So you see how they're going to start piling up in the back row, but this is the filter over here, right? The big coffee filter, tea filter, whatever you're into, right? And then they get to the back row and they kill them, but we're blocking, 3, 6 at a time here in the front, which is nice, or more. So now things are starting to dissipate a little bit and die down. We can actually just want to make sure that you have somebody who's capable of blocking in the back, because we don't want anybody to let slip through, right? But we can let, what do we have? Brakir, we can let him go. Can let him go. Kill these guys. Baron's kind of slowing things up right now. We can get this guy out of here. All right. I think we're going to be fine. All right, guys, so there it is. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Again, this is, one of the first things that you should focus on is getting through Extreme 2 on all the promotion raids once you're in the mid-game of Watcher of Realms. And I hope this helped you out a little bit with the strategy component to all of these levels, even if you don't have these particular heroes. Again, besides this last one where I really had to, I tried to use as many level 50s, as many non-legendaries as I possibly could. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.